Okay, so here's the thing. I went to HBO to try to pitch a show that is so perfect for HBO. It's a dead-on cross between The Sopranos and Sex and the City. A traditional American family, it's 3 generations living under the same roof of contemporary American artists. The grandparents make sculptural things that are sort of someplace in between Alberto Giacometti and Juan Merril. They make all their own materials. The sculptures are made entirely out of their own excrement. They're also glazed with the vomit and urine of their grandchildren. Critics really go for this work in a very big way. There's an interesting textural thing that they're able to get from the work. What they do is they save all their stools in separate containers depending on the diet. They have a particular stool from high-protein meals, which are more tarry and have a more viscous kind of a tensile strength. And then there are stools that come from a more fruity, nutty meal, which would be more liquid, and fibrous, which would be lighter in color, and so forth. And they have won every award at the Venice Biennale because of the Americana series, which was the fecal result of having eaten all the classic fast food recipes. So the grandparents are classic American artists in the most classic tradition. And every show, there's a bunch of running jokes where, like, for instance, where are grandma and grandpa gonna go take a shit tonight, which container? All the antibiotics they have to take. Grandpa always complains when the daughter-in-law cooks because he hates the smell of garlic. The grandparents live with their adult daughter and her husband, who are also artists, but in an entirely different tradition. They are performance artists. They met in art school when he was doing a performance art piece, and she volunteered to help him set his testicles on fire. And now, when we first meet them, they have just been accepted into the Whitney Annual for a piece that they are doing, where they have sex in a kiddie pool full of beef entrails and aborted fetuses. Sitting right above them on a platform, totally nude, are their teenage kids who are watching and are eating pages from the Bible and then sticking their fingers down their throat and collecting the vomit in these silver chalices. And what they're doing is making a really powerful, multi-level statement about the debasement of intimacy in an autocratic society like ours, and also, you know, the irrelevance of organized religion to the whole youth culture at this point. And there's a lot of just traditional family stuff going on too, because the kids are annoyed at the parents. On the one hand, the kids want to participate in mall culture and they want to hang out with their friends, and on the other hand, they're under all this pressure to participate in the proud tradition of their family's artwork. In the pilot episode that I was pitching, the grandparents were not invited into the Whitney Annual, but the younger people were. And the younger people are yelling at the grandparents and saying, the reason you weren't invited into the Whitney Annual is, quite frankly, shit sculpture is objects and it's just irrelevant to contemporary art. And the grandparents are going, listen, young man, our work is in a postmodern, neoclassic tradition of new figuratism, and we will never be irrelevant. And this is the kind of fights they have. So I pitched this to the people at HBO, and then Stu Smiley looks at me and he goes, you know what I think the pilot episode needs is, I think it needs some broad physical comedy. So I think about it for a minute and I think, I know. We'll do our version of a food fight. So the grandparents pick up handfuls of shit and start throwing it at the younger people, and the younger people pick up pig bladders and shit and vomit and aborted fetuses, and everyone's covered. It's a big fight, and then they all look down and they realize how funny it is, and they all start to laugh because they realize they all love each other because it's a big family thing and everything, and they all hug, and everything's really happy. So I pitched this to them, and Chris Albrecht says to me, well, what's the name of the show? And I go, The Aristocrats. You know, I think they liked it, but I haven't really heard about it yet. I'm not sure if they've really figured out their fall lineup. Yeah. I went to art school, in case you don't know. This is my leftovers from that.
How'd you make the change from painting to college?
I was just hanging around the Improv. And then I met Andy Kaufman, and I wrestled in an Andy Kaufman show at the Improv.
You knew Andy?
Yeah, I wrestled.
He was such a huge influence on us and so wonderful.
He was nuts, yeah.